Alright, there we go. I also installed some mods to hopefully make streaming this a little less laggy. So it's optimized mods and all that. So let me pop out my stream thing here. Do full screen, alright. And over here. Alright, there we go. I also lowered the view distance, so it's not too far. But chunks don't load until like I'm very close up to them, so it shouldn't be too much annoyance for that. But like I said, low energy tonight. So if you weren't here in the last time, I'm currently building a anniversary map, like a Minecraft, and I will then, after I finish it and building it in Minecraft, I'll put it into GMOD. Because I have there's a Minecraft GMOD map porter that I use usually, where I build up the maps in Minecraft, get an idea of how it will look, and then I will put it into the GMOD itself, and then I do some modifications. Like some things don't transfer over properly when you port, for example, like doors and stairs. So I have to keep that in mind. But yeah, like I said, low-key night. Not gonna be talking too much unless someone comes into the chat. So it's to be chill, nice vibe. Some nice chill music to listen to. So, all right. So what I have to do is, since I already finished this room, I will have to. Did I already do this one? Yeah, I already did. Alright, so this was the beginning of the circle. Let me pull up a reference image. Vine Shroom, let's see, where is it? Alright, here it is. So let me lower the... So currently I have an opacity on this, so... Filters... Let me put it at like that, so I just have a visual reference at all time. Put it in the top left corner. No, put it right there. That way I can visually see it at all time. And you guys can also get a reference of what it looks like as well, while I'm working on it. Alright, so... I know, I don't want to do that. Alright, so one like this. Actually, no, it'll be like that, and then... How does that look? Size-wise... I mean, so for the edge of this, if I were to expand it, I would have to go up to here. So I want to expand these lines then a little more. So this will be another 3. This will be a 2. And that will go like that. I think that should look good like that. And then we'll do 3, then 2, and then 3. Then I will have 1, 2, 3 blocks more. Alright, that's a little oblong, so I would have to expand this up more. How much is that? 3, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. Alright, I think that looks pretty decent there, and that goes... I mean, 1 block isn't too bad. I mean, what I'll still do here, I'll expand 1 block here. So that's 5. Alright, that should be good. Wait, actually, wait. No, I'm correct, yeah. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, I think I see what I did wrong here. Is that right? Is that... No, I need 2, 3. It's not. Alright, there we go. And then 4. It seems a little weird. Let me expand my fog here. Alright, that's better. Yeah, it seems a little off. It's not... I don't feel like it's to be as much of a circle as I'm expecting it to be. I mean, I have to just see. So now I'll just repeat it. So 3. And 3. 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then we do the opposite. 1, 2. Come on. And 3. And 3. And then 4. Wait. A little off here. What's happening? 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 4. 4. Wait, what the hell happened? Am I like... No, right now I'm doing good. Okay. It looked off there. Alright, never mind. 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Oh. 3, 4. And then go again, be 2. 3. 3. 4. 1. No, 3. 3. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4? No, I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? And it's nearly perfect. I'm just off by 1 somewhere. Or am I off? Oh wait, I think I know what I'm off. I'm off by 1 right here. I know, it's 4. Oh, I did 5 here. Oops. Alright, there we go. Now it's good. Let's see how it looks. I mean, that looks pretty good. Main thing is, like I said, this is to be another like center building, and the V itself is to be like a water pool of sort. So the core idea is to have it so that you'll be able to enter from right over on this side. It's probably gonna be like a double doorway. Come in here. Same as over there. It'll be a double doorway. Let me just make sure this is lined up correctly. Yeah, it is. And then here as well. And then you would have basically there'd be 3 areas, like 1, 2, 3, and then be in between each area is a pool that separates. And then not sure where yet how to get down, but there will be a way to get down into an area under the shroom, which will be like a sort of like a club area of sorts. which will be like a dark shroom version of the vine shroom. Because currently this is the light shroom version. I want to have like a dark shroom like under the side of it. But yeah. But currently it's looking pretty good. I'm happy that that looks nice. I am happy that no jinx or anything, but it doesn't seem to be much lag with the new mods now. So I haven't been getting any like lag spikes like I was last time I was streaming this. So that I'm happy for. Because it was kind of like abrasive when that was happening. Also, in between the last time I streamed and this week I've streamed, I added some sound alerts to the channel redeems. So if you really wanted to have like a little fun, you could redeem some sound effects. I added a whole bunch, including like a secret one that will be revealed once you redeem your channel points for them. I sort of wanted to like do something with that. It's sort of fun. The icon for it is currently using like a flame orb from Pokemon. That will probably change. I just needed something to represent the represent them right now, and I didn't want to use the generic one, so I was like, you know, flame orbs work. It looks nice too, so I need to change that option. Where is it? Controls, auto jump off. Yeah. There we go. All right. So I'm trying to think, like, how am I gonna do this? Also, this was an idea I was having off stream of what I want to do with this. So I was thinking, the actual building itself is, I'm gonna probably have this like this is probably gonna go up and maybe like cascade up to be like sort of a three-dimensional like roofing sort of thing. I'm not sure. It'll be like multiple like blocks high. And the idea is I want to have it so that there's a road that goes around this. And when you reach around here, or you know, a little at the edge here, it starts to go in an incline up. And the road will go up, starts landing upward, and probably it'll go up to like maybe like here, like this height, and you would be able to get on top of the roof of the shroom, and there will be like a glass like ceiling that looks down into the pool area. You won't be able to shoot into it. It just allows you to look down into it. But it adds another area where you can be up here and chilling, and on the edges of the whole map, there's gonna be like storefronts to different like streams or like games. Like maybe like a Mario Mystery Meat Deli or something like that. Stuff like that. I wanna, in that way, I'll be able to incorporate some like history sort of things, like maybe like a Limonade storefront where they sell lemonade, stuff like that. You know, like in reference to Limu and all that. Not too many. I just want to do like sort of friends of the Vinesauce, like maybe like a simple flips tables, emporium or something like that. I don't know, something silly. That way that we have a little representation of like, you know, everyone, like the small group of friends. I won't reference more so like the older Vinesauce stuff, mostly because there's so much of that already online. People already have like so much references to older Vinesauce streamers, and that used to be like part of a group that isn't anymore a group. So I want to try to keep it generally like modern and Vinny centric. But with that in mind, I think it's fine just to add some like friend references here and there. But like I said, this is be like what I'm gonna have here is I'm gonna probably like do some pixel art like of the logo here. It'll be like Vinny's Vinesauce community pool or something like that. Because this is basically sort of like a unique variation of the community pools map in TTT. So it's not entirely, but it is basically like a Vinesauce flavoring to it with some unique stuff. Like community pools doesn't usually have like an exterior, and if it is, it's usually just in the front here. Outside of that, yeah. But so let me know if the music is a little too low. If you guys are just chilling here, I can boost it up a little more. But yeah, as I was saying, I am planning on reacting to Pokemon Presents that is happening tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll do it live. I might just do it like a recording. I'm not sure. I will have to see how I'm feeling tomorrow. I want to do it live, just due to the fact that it's sort of something special when you do it live. It's more fresh. But doing a recording can also be good, just due to the fact that I can, if I'm coughing or whatever, I can just quickly edit that out, and just upload the video. What I will probably do is I will upload it onto my main channel. Actually, maybe on second thought I shouldn't. Because my current issue is with my main channel and my VOD channel. My VOD channel doesn't have as many viewers or subscribers on my VOD channel, which I mean is chill. We are slowly gaining people. That's the name of the game. But my main channel, I don't want to sort of neglect the fact that it has so many people to subscribe to it. And so allowing myself to use that avenue to get people to come over to watch my VOD stuff would be beneficial. But I'm unsure how many people would be actually interested in that on that channel. Like, I try to stream to it when I can. Like, I'm not streaming it now because of the fact that YouTube doesn't split the audio for Spotify when you do split audio stuff. So I'm mostly just doing this on Twitch right now because I can split the audio perfectly. I mean, outside of that, though, yeah. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do in the hallway here. Like, I want this open, but I do need to decorate it. I could probably put some paintings here. I won't do windows, I feel, because if I do windows, it starts making it not as well optimized when you're playing. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm building here. I want sight lines, but I don't want too many, basically. The main hallway here is supposed to be like a good sort of loop around, but also allows people, if they want to b-hop inside here. Enough room, you know, like just b-hopping around, going in circles. Like, I want to try to incorporate as many like benefits that a lot of T players like to play in like normal like innocence, because they can just b-hop around. That's chill. Outside here is technically going to be having like a sort of b-hop support, because it'll be like you b-hop you start at the top and you b-hop down, you get a lot of momentum, come back around, and then you b-hop back up, and then, you know, just to cycle that. in a way, the outside is going to be similar to I think it's Christmas Town is the map name. It'll be similar to that, but yeah. So far, we're doing pretty good on our map making. Like, this is more so the slog part of it. It's building out the floor, not really doing any detailing right now. But yeah, I appreciate you if you are watching the VOD here. Like I said, it is a chill. For what I do with the YouTube video, like last time, I literally just compiled a YouTube playlist of all the music that was played during the whole stream, and just so you could listen along. It might have had some slight inconsistencies just due to the fact that some YouTube videos are longer or shorter, so sometimes it would like a little stray a little bit, but for the most part, it stayed along the way with it, so I can't complain too much, but you know, it is what it is. I was gonna see if I could get audio to play on top of it, but I really couldn't get it to work properly due to the fact that I didn't want to re-render the video and all that and lose quality. The system that I thought I would be able to work with that was adding another audio, what's it called, audio channel into the actual like file, but that didn't seem to work while I was trying it, so I just gave up on that. So I just went with the playlist option. Plus the video itself was like really large in file size, so I just ended up like just not caring about that. Also, the other thing I want to see once I get to it is I'm probably going to not use default Minecraft textures. I still have to see, but I do want to play with the idea of like a TTT Minecraft map with not the default ones. Because maybe I'll make like I don't know. I just want to have one that feels a little more fresh. Because so many either uses like retro Minecraft textures, or they use the modern ones, or yeah, that's really basically it. Which I mean, that works, but there is like some sort of texture packs I want to try and see how they would look with TTT. For example, Doku Craft. That would be pretty cool to see. I've always loved Doku Craft. One of my favorite like Minecraft texture packs. So, but we'll have to see once I get to it. But it is what it is. And as I said, the goal is to get this done before May. Because the Minecraft, or not Minecraft, the Vinesauce anniversary is May. I think it's May 11th and 12th, or was it 10th or 11th? I forget which ones it is. It's one of those days. I always forget which way it is. I usually have to check the wiki real quick before I do that, but alright. Alright, there we go. So, while at work this weekend, I had a fun little, I mean, not fun, I shouldn't say it like that. Sort of, I don't know how you would say this, interesting, or like sad, or, uh, moment at work is, so I work at like a trampoline park. That's what I usually work at. Especially during the weekends. It's almost every single weekend I basically work there. And during it, there was like a girl. I don't know how old she was. She was pretty young though. She was listening to all the rules really nicely. Like she was like, you know, really a good like a jumper and all that. And she would listen to the rules she's told, and you know, she even like got like she grimaced the first time I told her like one at a time, because she didn't realize, and she was like sorry about that and all that. And I think she was like for a party or whatever, and so it's probably was like her first time there. And there while that was like on the main court side, I mean like the jumping, you just jump on the trampoline. You normally by yourself on a single trampoline, which is the rules, and I'm pretty sure she like knew that. Like that was like one of the more common sense rules of the park, like one at a time, one per square. The only exception to that is dodgeball, because you aren't jumping hard on a dodgeball court. The issue happened is later in the evening. It was maybe like an hour, since usually most people get 2-hour jump times. What ended up happening is, I'm assuming a relative or like an older guy. I'm pretty sure it was like an older guy that did this. They were jumping in the dodgeball court, because it was on the dodgeball side now, and she I guess was in the same square. He jumped down while she was jumping, and because of the weight of the guy, this is the thing about trampolines that's pretty dangerous when you get to this point of them, is it caused, when she was coming down while he already extended the trampoline to its max, it was basically like her coming down on concrete. And I think she landed on her ankle wrong, and she said she felt her ankle crack. And she was like sobbing, crying. I'm pretty sure like, you know, it probably hurt really bad. And she's like, and like I had to like close the dodgeball trampoline for the time being, just to make sure, like, since she was just off the side of it with her parents, like holding her leg up or whatever. And we had the managers come over, give the ice pack, all that. It sucks because like she did everything right. Like she listened to the rules and all the things, but yet she still got screwed over. Like, it's like, man, it just sucks that something like that can happen. I was really like upset about, not upset, but like, I guess you could say upset. Yeah, upset about it, because it's like you get screwed over and by doing everything right, and life just hits you, and it's like, man, hate to see that. And she was having so much fun too, which is like the sad part about it. Like, she was having a good time, and she's at the party and all that. All right, let's back up. Let's expand the winter distance to 6. All right. The top parts start showing up like around here, I think. So let me do that. Actually, wait. When does this end here? Well, maybe I'll match. No, it extends a little further down than that. So yeah, I'll do it up to here. Yeah, that looks good. And it's a little bit the same on the other side. Unlike the actual like art, I'm gonna try to make it symmetrical, because maps sort of need to be symmetrical just to balance. It's not gonna be 100% accurate, but I'd rather be symmetrical on these things when possible, I feel. Because, like, I mean, I already am technically off, in the sense of, like, of the original image, because these things are slightly off-center as well. Like, you can't really tell when you look at the logo, but it is proper off-centered, because if you didn't know, the vine shroom is literally based off the 1-up mushroom. But it was just vectorized to be unique. But it still has the off-centeredness of the, I think it was the Super Mario World mushroom, of the dots. You can specifically see it in the top right and top left spots. The top left spot is a little bigger in like size compared to the right one. So I had an image I posted on the old like bird site, Twitter, that like showed it. But yeah, it's just a fun fact that you might not know. And then a lot of the Vinesauce merch even properly replicates that too. So it's always good to notice that, and then you go like, oh my god, now I can't unsee it. And now you properly curse with the curse knowledge. Pretty fun. But yeah, I hate being sick. It just sucks so much. Like, my head's like all foggy. Sort of why I just want to just do some like simple Minecraft building. This very simple, brain off, place block, have fun. I do want to pick back up on Radical Red soon. I'm probably gonna do it right after I get done from being sick. Oop. But yeah, I think outside of Radical Red, like I said, I do have some other games I want to play eventually. But as of this moment, because ReZero, the third season's like the final like second half of it is on, I didn't want to pick up ReZero's like the game. This is the fact that I feel like I would get confused by the store points if I'm playing the game and then I watch the newest episode. I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm thinking of that. Plus, I feel like most people, once the season is over, they might want to look for more ReZero content. And once I'm done with the season, I'm like, you know, the game is right there, so I can just play the game, and people might be like looking up more info on the game or whatever, and they see like, oh man, there's a game of ReZero, it's official, it has more story elements. Oh, that's cool. I'll check that out. That's my sort of idea for that to eventually play. But eventually I get to that. For right now, I'm just doing what I can. So I do want to get more streaming. Since last week, it was more so I was busy with other things. I made the recent like remakes, demakes, and reimaginings and all that for Vinny. That pack, that was basically, I made that all in a week, put together all these games that I knew of, or I've in the past like checked out or looked into that were like really good. And so sadly, one of the games didn't work. That was like, I was sort of really hyped for him to check out. I'm not sure why it didn't work, but my only assumption is maybe like I don't know, something happened. I don't know what happened, but it was like some sort of ini file that wouldn't work, or it couldn't detect the ini file even though it had it. I don't know. It's dumb. That's sort of why I hate Windows sometimes. Windows just does not make sense, or they block things when they shouldn't block. I don't know. It's whatever. But that was a pretty fun stream segment, though. A lot of fan game makers were like, "Oh, yo, that's so hype! You checked out my game or whatever." Because a lot of the games like I tried to pick were both really cool, but also like not many people really know of or heard of, or it's very like niche. Because everyone here, you know, has heard of all the like the big ones, Like not many people heard of like Power Bomber Man. Like what? It's like really cool. Like a fan game that somehow is like super under radar, but it's so content rich. It's like crazy. So it was nice to see something like that, like get some a little spotlight with how much love and passion was put into that fan game, as well as like there was some like Sonic Chernobyl, for example. That one was pretty funny, but it was also based on another streamer's memes in a way, which you don't really pick up at all, but it is, and it was funny to see like some of the content, the people that are fans of that streamer of sorts was like, "Yo, you check this out, that's so cool." So it was just a fun game too on it itself. So it was like, it's a good addition. All right, I think I'm gonna work on the inside here. So for the inside of the pool, I still want to keep the vine shroom like look, but I'm not sure how I should do this. I might eventually change this tile. This might not be the best tile to work with because I want to still represent the light shroom, so I'm trying to figure out how I would do this now. I'm not going to replace this. Maybe I'll just leave this texture. I'll use this block for it, and then when I port it over the GMOD, I'll swap it. But for inside here, let me look at what the light shroom normally looks like. 1 second. I need to open up Firefox because I have that closed right now. Alright, here we go. Vine Shroom. Alright, here we are. What's this, speaking of Sonic? You got some Sonic right now. Alright. So that's what that looks like. So it's like a bluish to light blue for the V. Alright. So it is white on the outside here. So let me see if I can find a decent... And I could use smooth quartz again. Well, that's block quartz. I'm going to do smooth quartz. I feel like leaving this... What I'll do is I'll probably fill in that gap with these blocks here. Just so that they're pushed down. Alright, that looks good. Because I need to... Part of the optimization stuff I have to figure out is that the under areas I have to keep on... I have to extend tiles down when possible. So that because if I extend these two back this way, they will technically connect to these two. But if I did that for, I don't know, let me see here. So for example here, optimization wise, what I should do is use these red and put them under here. So that these three would connect all together. I would also connect it here and then leave this alone. It's because I have to make sure to try to connect all the tiles properly. And because I don't want to make more polygon, more sections than I have to. But yeah. So for this area, I'll have it like that. And then the pool will start expanding this way. Because I do still want to have an area where you can go around. Just so there's a little bit player friendly, a little more. Instead of just being like, oh, you have to hop into the pool. It'll still be annoying to go around, but you know. Let's see. I think that's correct so far. Maybe. I think that is a little better. And then. And 3. Let's see how that looks. I mean, I'll probably want to expand this a little more out here. So, like this. A little more up here. Yeah, that looks good like that. Down one here. Alright, we're doing so good. Let's see. I think that looks pretty decent. Like I said, it's the V is to be a little shrunk just for gameplay reasons. I mean, that looks pretty decent. I mean, let me... Four? Yep, I think that looks good. I mean, I might expand that up one by one tile because it feels a little too low. So let me do that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let me just do a little tip here. Maybe I'll just keep, for this one, these corners here, I'll keep these tipped, but allow the players to go around that easily. That might look good. How does that look? No, that doesn't look as good. What about if I place a block here? Maybe if I close that off? Well, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'll do that. I just have to expand the up one. Yeah, that looks clean. And then just delete all the inner blocks. As I said, this the V area is gonna be like a pool. Underneath it, like what it's gonna look like is like these are gonna be like platforms. The pool itself is literally gonna be this whole circle. So under it, once you dive in, you'll dive in and it'll be this water in here, and it'll be like I might build something in the bottom of it or something, like a statue or something cool. That you can like maybe like do some underwater shooting. I don't know, something cool like that. But the core idea is that I want to have something like unique down there. And what will eventually happen is what I might do is have like a sort of T-trap. This is beyond my ability currently. I will have to I have to learn some tools and all that tips, because I'm not sure how to do like actual like T-trap activation and stuff just yet. I know how to do all the map making. I know how to make a good decent TTT map that people like. I'm just not sure how to do T-traps. But the idea is a T might be able to set a trap to blow up the bottom of the glass container down there that contains the water, and it will like the water will lower by half and then raise in the bottom rooms. So you basically be a lot of the stuff will be floating. You'll still be able to platform around on objects, but the water itself will just flood the whole down here, and it won't be as chill to hang out in than normally. So that's the main reason why I'm doing that, because it will demotivate players to chill down there. It also just allow another avenue for people to like say, oh man, I'm gonna escape. I'm gonna escape down here, jump down here, and then exit out through there, and come up out of one of the rooms here that has the exits to go down in there. Not sure where I'm gonna get it. You're gonna go down inside there yet? Possibly, maybe here. There might be an entrance to lead down. I'm not sure. Still a work in progress in that. I just want to build out the actual structure currently. That's the main thing. But that's the idea I have so far. Oh, almost fell. So I want to check something real quick here. Yeah, alright. It seems like today isn't, it hasn't been too bad on my, stream stuff here. It does seem that Minecraft is still causing... No, okay, never mind. That's weird. I'm trying to figure out, like, it says, like, disk full approximately whatever. I'm trying to figure out why it does that sometimes. It's not, right, like, when I'm tabbed into Minecraft, it says... Right now, like, for example, if I click onto Minecraft right now, 1 second. I move around in it. And this with me wait and see. Like, it's mostly when I'm in movement, which is probably why it's causing issues. One second, and let me just finish this up, and then I'll look at it again. Alright, and now when I look into OBS, it says I have like 2 hours, like 3 hours of disk full, approximately. But when I'm tabbed out for a little longer here, just focused on like a still image here, it then says I have like 5 hours. So, not sure why there's like a discrepancy there. Like it switches on the approximation. But now it says 16 hours. Okay, yeah, this is crazy. I don't know. It's the whole Minecraft like saving space thing. Oh, hey, off. I'm not sure why it's like that. I'm thinking I might have to look a little more into like settings, like good settings for Minecraft. At least for like I'm not having any performance issues anymore. That's the main thing I'm happy about. Um, it's just that for some reason it takes a lot of file size for Minecraft. Alternatively, I could just literally just upload the actual like just Twitch VOD up to YouTube itself. I don't really actually have to trim much fat off this if I did that. But the main issue I don't want to do that is because of the whole Spotify music stuff. I don't want to really deal with like having to deal with video claims, because even though I know like it's chill to have that for the most part, I just don't want YouTube like, oh, we can't monetize your channel because you have so many like music claims in your VODs on like older stuff. I don't know if it does that or not, but I just want to be safer on the YouTube side of things, because eventually I want to make my VOD channel sort of like a passive income sort of build up eventually. Maybe that's just a goal of mine, just to sort of have a lot of content out there that people are interested in. I do want to make highlight content, of course. I can't currently monetize my main channel due to the fact that the main reason why it sort of popped off was because I uploaded a little clip from Cheddar Goblin, from a movie, and so like everyone like, oh my god, this is so good. I didn't find the video on YouTube at all anywhere except for Instagram, so I was like, okay, I'll upload this. And then everyone just like, oh my god, we love Cheddar Goblin, and now I just have like, I gained so many extra subscribers than normal, and then I'm like, and so many more views. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll apply and see what YouTube will give me if I can monetize my channel now. And I also, in that time, I also uploaded music playlists for people to play in the background of their streams. And I'm like, yeah, no, they don't want that either. So they just don't like people uploading YouTube videos of multiple music in one video. So it's just not their kind of content they want on their channel monetized anymore. So I'm like, well, crap. So both things that got me some decent views or whatever on my channel is just not something they want to monetize anymore. So I have to, I mean, obviously that a lot of that is lower and like it's not really creative content. I understand that. But there was a lot of, especially in the music playlist of stuff, there was effort put into it. They have a decent like visual and like listing of names of the songs. But it is what it is. Oh boy. But with that in mind though, I do have another one of those music playlists I'm eventually working on. I just have a lot of things on my plate right now that's like it's hard to focus on and finish one thing at a time. And plus, being sick and all that nonsense, I've sort of been like striving doing a short-term things a little bit right now, when I can, because short-term it allows me to like put a little more focus on things and finish it in like a day or two. There's another thing I'm currently working on that's like a project thing with a whole bunch of other people. I am slowly like working on that. It's just really hard to like work on something like that especially when I'm sick. But I have a bunch of ideas how to work into that, because I mean, for the most part, they aren't too strict on getting things done there. So I can a little bit have some leisure to it, but I do have ideas I want to get done. It's just hard to put some focus on it when your brain is fogged up and you can't really know if you're making something that's really good quality for what you are basically putting your name on and saying, yeah, this is my work, I'm doing this. So I do have ideas. The one thing is to be like, it's pixel art related, for a ROM hack. So eventually, once I get that done, I will I will be happy with it, but it just takes a little bit. Especially because pixel art isn't a science, not science, but it isn't a, you can't get exactly super done with, yeah, I can't talk. You can't get it exactly done correctly because I'm not really going for any specific style. So we're going for my like sort of own style, but reminiscent of Game Boy art style. So that's the main thing I'm focusing on one of my side project stuff with a group of people. I'm also in another one, but I'm like, that one's not as much of a, I don't really have a task to do. It's more so I can pick up a task and do it. Right now that one doesn't have anything that I'm really interested in helping in too much right now. I did supply like one thing, and I'll probably will do more if I get the motivation to supply something for it. But a bunch of the others are in the project are supplying things to it. It's just really hard to do stuff when you're so busy on other things. It's hard to you know, focus. I am getting a little parched. I don't have a drink with me right now, so I might have to BRB for a sec. But I'll let you know in a bit. I just want to finish this area first, and then I'll grab a drink. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the Pokemon Presents tomorrow. Should be a good time. Wait, what the hell? No, I don't want that. I want this. But yeah, with the Pokemon Presents happening, I will probably I want to stream it. I'm not sure if I will be able to. If not, it'll be a VOD. I'll record it like off and then upload it onto my main channel. Again, no, not my main channel. My VOD channel, maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to see. I might just do like, I might upload my full reaction onto my VOD channel, and then I might trim it down for my main channel. That might work out, because it's not gonna be too much. I'll just be trimming off the fluff, and then there we go. So I'll look into that. That might be the actual go-to idea there. All right, let me set up some doors here. I feel like iron doors would make sense here. No. All right, there we go. All right, that looks good. Alright, that looks good. So I'll probably set up like some little like decoration stuff here. Maybe like a where is it? Like some like towels here. People are like relaxing by the pool. They get a towel here, so they chill out, dry. There'll be like what's it called, a window, like a window up above, so the sun will beam down through, and so people can tan here. That's the one of the things I want to make sure, like, to have like a vibe, like people can chill here as if it's like an actual like outdoor pool. But and like I feel like this smooth basalt, smooth quartz gives a sort of sandy vibe as well, so it actually does a nice bonus in that. What I might do is I might do a block that acts as a edge of the pool. Like, I feel like this these blocks would work good. Where is it? Where's a full one? You. These are good edge pool blocks. Because they look like pool tiles. So it also helps promote like no running. Though technically this is potentially bad optimization wise, because this adds a whole bunch of extra polygons in a way. But sometimes you have to. I mean, it won't be too much actually, because you're not seeing the outside. There's no windows into this area other than above, and there's not going to be much polygons viewed from above. So it shouldn't be too bad. Because all you're going to see is out through these 3 doors, and what's out these 3 doors, you can't really see too much outside of the main rooms here. Yeah, I think that should be fine. There's not too bad optimization wise if I do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Put some carpets down, put some whatever. Maybe like I don't know, something interesting. Maybe like tables here along the lines here, so people can like sit here, drink while whatever the kids are jumping into the pool, whatever. Sort of wish I had like it was like one block center here, so I could like have a diving board. That'd be kind of cool. But actually, wait. Let's see if I could do something. Like these blocks won't really work here, but let's see if I could have one. Oh, sorry about that. What if I do something like this? Trying to figure out how to do a decent diving board. I want wood. That's the main thing. I mean, technically the wood diving boards are mostly like white, I feel. I guess that could work. You come up here and like boing boing, yeah, splash. That could work. And how does that look above? I mean, I could probably pull this back a little more. How far extended out is this? 1, 2, 3. So let me 1, 2, 3. Let me go here. And then here. That's 4. Alright, I think that should be good. Like, boing, 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 splash. And it doesn't interfere with the V shape, is the main thing. Alternatively, no, I think this was pre-Nether update, so no, never mind. Let's say I could use like the blue blue wood, but we are pre-Nether update in this version, so I can't. I think that looks good. That is a nice little detail that works. People can dive in off that. A little fun. It is a very odd shaped pool, not to lie. It is very unsafe that you can literally like go under and have like a ceiling above you. That is super unsafe. But I mean, hey. If chat toys can't swim properly and understand that, that's on them. They gotta listen to the rules. Alright, let's see, what else we got here we can do. Oh yeah, I need to get my drink. That's what I said earlier. So let me grab my drink. I'll leave, here, I'll do a BRB up here. So that people can see what we're working on. Why BRB? Alright, and go over to OBS. Alright. And let me put my offline or BRB text on. 1 second. BRB text.